Welcome to Broke Chick Flips, where I take some of this junk that me and Matt bought and try to turn a profit on it so I can start saving up some money to buy some of the crucial tools I need to start taking on my client builds. All right guys, today we are working on this 81 square body. We're dealing with some of the cab corner rocker rust and getting the paint stripped down, and I'm hoping I don't run into too many more issues. This cab corner and this rocker, they've got some rust going on here. Surface rust down here. Once I get it stripped down to bare metal, I'll know more what I'm working with. I'm just gonna take this door off. It's gonna be easier to cut this panel off and do the replacement that I need to do with the door off, and then I'll just have to put it back on. So it's gonna be really heavy though, so I might have to get a hand. To lift all this stuff. Oh, that down nice and gentle like. Oh, that wasn't too bad. Definitely gives you a little bit more space to work. Today we're going to be tackling the cab corners and rockers on this Chevy. There's quite a bit of rust around it, and I'm not going to know what I'm really dealing with until I get the rocker off. Just give you guys a little bit of a close-up of what the rust looks like here. This side is the worst side. So you can look under here, you got rust on the other underside of this cab corner and rocker, which is pretty normal. And then here, my replacement panel is only going to come to here, and so I will have to make a custom patch. I went through and checked the rest of the floor, and it looks like it's just this area here that needs to be replaced. Now I got to start cutting this stuff out and drilling out the spot welds down here and get this piece off. Before I get started, I kind of just like to make a rough mark of what I want to replace. So my lip's rusty up until this point. So I'm going to replace like that. And there's no rust here, so I'm going to go straight down, straight across here, because that's going to be an easy spot to weld. How I go about checking to see how much metal I need to replace, get yourself a screwdriver and hit it. So, you know, that's all rusty. I like to go anywhere where I see like a pretty good like rust spot. Just get in there with the edge of your screwdriver and see if you can poke through. I mean, this truck's pretty clean, so I'm actually probably only gonna have to replace around that vicinity. And then here at the front, my lips are rusty to just about there. So I'm gonna come across, and I'm just gonna go straight down through here. So that's the area I'm gonna be replacing. I guess I'll just cut it all out and we'll see. We'll go from there. Comes to the tedious and boring part of cutting all this stuff out. So what I'm gonna do now is the spot welds here on the bottom are gonna have to be drilled out. So what I like to do is I just take a little bit of sandpaper on a flat block, and I just kind of scuff this, and it'll show you where the spot welds are, because the spot welds are going to be a low generally. This just catches all those high spots and kind of outlines where all those spot welds are. You see it worked really well on these guys. Gives you kind of a clear view. Now I'm just going to go in with a center punch and a hammer, and the spot welds that I can see, I'm just going to use a punch to mark the dead center, and that gives me like a place to start with my drill bit. There's going to be like layers of rust in here generally. A little bit of rust falling out the bottom. Now, I'm actually gonna get the grinder first, and I'm just gonna cut and see what happens. We got safety first. As I'm getting everything cut apart, I'm realizing that the inner rocker is a lot more rusted than I thought it was, which is a little bit of an issue because I'm going to have to rebuild it, and I don't have all the metal shaping tools I need, so it's going to be a bit of a challenge. So I'm just going to kind of take it like piece by piece. I'm going to start here with the floor and work my way out, because that's going to be the structure that holds our rocker panel on. I got this big piece of steel, so now I can start cutting chunks out of that with the metal shears and start fitting these pieces. So I'm just going to start by taking a rough measurement of my first patch. All right, so we're 7 by roughly 5. I'll come over here and let's just mark out 5 inches and by 7 inches. Something like that. Anyways, we're just gonna zip this. Literally cuts like butter. Perfect. Got my little piece cut here. Now, like always, we gotta make sure that we hammer our edges flat. Okay, and I can fit this kind of. So I also have to cut a half round in this piece because it's going to meet up to this upward curve. And because I don't have all the tools, I can't form this piece all in one piece. So I'm just going to cut kind of like a half circle out of it. So starting kind of like this, something like that. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to try that. We can always trim more. Oh, we'll try that. So I think I'm liking that. So that's roughly my first patch. I'm just going to have to round this edge a little bit. As you can see, this has kind of become tool storage. And yeah, that's about it. So now you guys can see there's just a slight bend there and a slight bend up here. This piece is more or less flat there on the floor. So yeah, that's all it really needs. Now, I'm gonna go and fit this. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. All right, so now I'm gonna build the round, just this like, I don't know, it's probably like 4 or 5 inches piece. And I'll bend it to the curve here, and then hopefully it'll meet up to this patch. So I'll go back over to my sheet steel. Now I gotta put a round in it. So let me just go fit this piece and see whereabouts we're at. Honestly, that's looking pretty good. Now I've got this sitting here in this channel, about where I want it. I'm just gonna mark the backside for my bend. And now for the fun part, bending this over. I'm gonna put kind of like a 90-degree bend in this. And I'm just gonna line that mark up, more or less. It's a pretty straight line for a hand-drawn line, let's say so myself. Although I forgot how thick this steel is, and that makes it a pain in the ass to bend. Oh, you know what? Just got a better idea. So on the back of this table is actually a metal brake. At least this way it'll hold it for me. It's probably gonna be the ticket. All right. Yeah, that's about a 90. Oh God, now I have the hiccups. Damn it. All right. Okay, so that's this front section dealt with. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Oh, it's Avery. Hey Avery, what's up? I just got a call from Avery now, and he needs me to help him with one of his trucks, so I gotta stop what I'm doing and head over there to help him. All right, so today we're working on something a little bit newer, definitely not a classic, but Avery here is not super great with the computers on these new trucks, so I'm gonna teach him how to use this new Carista scanner on his truck. And we're gonna go through some of his fault codes and change up some of his lights and dingers. So you turn the truck on.
Plug it into the port.
Yeah, plug it in. And then we just turn on the phone.
It comes right up on there?
There's an app, right? So you click the app, brings up your vehicle. And so now let's go to customization and I'll show you. And so now you can customize whatever you want.
Is there anything on there to change the passenger's attitude when you have a passenger?
No, I wish there was though. And so you can get, there's live data. So when your vehicle is running, you can have live data for all your sensors and your engine.
Oh, no kidding. It's kind of like having another dashboard all on the whole thing. So now you're telling me you can get rid of my seatbelt dinger?
Yeah, I can. All right, dings and warnings. All right.
Okay,
so
that has to go. This thing connects to your Bluetooth?
Yeah, it connects to your Bluetooth and then through the app. And so
What's it called?
it's called the Carista EVO scanner.
And how much is this thing?
The scanner is like $100, and then the app itself is $19 a month, or you can buy it for the year. But I mean, you can use my discount code, and it'll get you 25% off.
No.
Yeah. So CSUY 25 off.
Cassidy. That's my new favorite girlfriend.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. This thing is definitely staying in my toolbox. It works on a bunch of different car brands. It won't void your warranty, and it saves me a trip to the shop every time a light comes on. So I just got back from Avery's. I was hoping to make more progress on my truck today, but it took me quite a bit of time to help him out, which is fine. I really like the new scanner that I just got, and it was kind of fun to get to use it. I was planning on making more progress on the truck today, but I guess we'll just have to wait to see tomorrow. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you guys want to see more truck content. All right, so we are back at it doing the floor pan. I'm gonna cut this last piece. This is more or less just a straight piece with a little curve on the end. And then I'm gonna start chopping all this out and tacking in my pieces into place. And then after all this is mostly welded, then I'm gonna start rebuilding my inner rocker. And I'll still have to build this channel and lip. And then we can start getting the cab corner cut off as well and put this, the new rocker on. So we're just gonna get into it. Let's take a quick measurement here. Oh, we're about 17.5 inches by 3 inches. A nice chunk of steel. All right. Honestly, already pretty happy with that. Now that I got those couple pieces cut, it's kind of starting to be the time where I cut this out and start tacking the pieces in. But first, I gotta set up my welder. Bum, 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 bum. I'm gonna screw this off. So this gauge right here tells you how many PSI is in this tank. But this gauge right here, this is your flow rate. I want to adjust this about 20 CFH. So I want to be kind of here for the gauge of metal that I'm welding. All right, well I got everything marked out. Yeah, I'm just going to cut out my first patch and then I'll probably just tack the corners. And then we'll do the same thing to the next one and the next one. I'm actually thinking I might just put you guys on time lapse for this because it's kind of a tedious job and well, it looks way funner in fast motion anyway. Now that I've got all the floor rebuilt and the inner rocker, it's time to weld on my outer rocker. And now I'm just, I've already fit this on the truck and put my door back on to make sure that this gap was still okay. You can see here the rocker isn't quite the same shape in some spots as the original rocker is, so I am going to have to put a little patch. So yeah, I'm just getting this set up for the final time. I've like ground where my spot welds are going to go. Anyways, I've got all the pieces made. Everything matches the other side, which is still factory. It all looks good with the door on, so I'm super happy with that. I'm just having a little bit of a challenge getting it fit. These are aftermarket rockers and they never fit right. They always need some adjustments, but these ones are actually really good quality and I'm quite surprised with the quality, and they only need a little bit of work to make them fit perfect. What I like to do is I'm probably going to tack it here where it meets nice, and then I can kind of push this rocker to where I need it to be, and then I'll clamp the bottom to the inner so that that's all set in place. I'm just going to get into welding this. Okay, let's get this clamp on here. Already probably see this little bare metal spot there. I'm just going to do a couple small tacks to get this in place. Probably going to have to use my hammer to get it to sit how I want. It's what we like to call in the auto body world finessing. Alright, well, that's all clamped. Now it's just for half an hour of welding or whatever. Now I got my rocker welded on. I haven't finished the grinding quite yet. I'm just waiting to get my air compressor set up, but I'm gonna move on to my cab corner now. So this is the size of the cab corner. I only need the bottom. Comes up quite high and really far into the box. These cab corners are still really good, just the bottom of them was rotten out. I do the same thing I always do. I take like a pointy punch or a small screwdriver. I smack it around a bunch, see if there's any thin metal here or whatever, and then I can gauge like how much of this I need to cut off. So I only had to do the bottom little bit. I just put this up here, kind of get it sitting where I want to get it sitting. I'm gonna chop off probably like, I don't know, 1/4 inch longer than I need, so I can get it like fit better and I have a little bit of wiggle room to adjust it up or down. And then once I get it mostly fit, I'll grind the edge of the patch and get it tacked up there. Now that I cut off all the excess, I can kind of get a closer fit. Figure out where I want this set. Just gonna bend this flange out a little bit more. I want that to sit somewhere in there. Okay, I'm gonna trim this a little bit more. You guys can see that my first scribe is like pretty accurate. I might have to trim a little bit more. Yeah, so back to cutting this. I like to take it off just like little bit by little bit. You don't want to ever take off too much, especially initially. Okay. It's basically a perfect fitment. You can tell this panel's not quite right. But I'm gonna put some tension on it. It's gonna fit just fine. Yeah, honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. We'll be ready to weld it on, and then I'll fix this last little piece here. This side will be done. If you guys want an actual full tutorial on the stitch welding, let me know in the comments. But for now, I'm just gonna put you guys on time lapse. Well, the cab corner and rocker are on. I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. It did take me a little bit of extra time, but I'm happy with the outcome and everything is starting to look really good. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to keep funding what I'm doing and so I can put out more content for you guys.